Australia's business channel. This is Mediaweek.
Hello and welcome to the program. Ahead, APN selling out of its outdoor JV. Southern Cross Media's chairman causes a stir, and Foxtel signs Seven's Rowan Lund. But first, last week we featured Foxtel's Upfront event where it showed off its 2014 programming highlights to advertisers and media buyers. This week it was Seven's turn. The launch also included an update on Seven's planned broadcast broadband TV service coming next year. Let's get the details with our co-host James Manning, the editor and publisher of Mediaweek. James, thanks for your time.
Okay.
First of all, some fresh faces telling advertisers what to expect from Seven this time around.
Yeah, it was a bit of a change. There was about 5 or 6 people got up to speak. A couple of them new to the Upfronts, Angus Ross and Brad Lyons, sort of making their debut, if you like, in front of all the advertisers.
And we also heard from Tim Warner, and he was all about planning.
Yeah, look, he said this the last couple of Upfronts, planning. He says, look, they have better ideas, they execute better than the others, better than the opposition, which is why they're sort of up there. In the past, they've talked about their big red train where they cram all the viewers on. They've got some graphics this year of a big red truck. It's coming up in My Kitchen Rules. We'll see a fair bit of that. And they also had an interesting animation of a big red spaceship which sort of packed all the different parts of the Seven West Media Group on board.
Okay, and Kurt Burnett, what did we hear from him?
He talked a little bit about HBB TV, which you just alluded to. It gives them ability to launch new channels across the internet, but which will come through to your TV set. The first one of those is going to be called Healthy Me TV. It's in partnership with Brand New Media, and it's they first launched it in Singapore early last year.
Okay, and Adam Elliott also talking about some of the big spenders.
Yeah, look, he's the sales guy. He talked about the new well, it's not a new demo, but they really focus on 40 to 64 a lot, he said. And it comes against a background where Seven have been getting a bit of a hard time from some people about their right to claim, number one. A lot of people say, look, 9's really number one because it does better in the younger demos, but look, Seven won't have a bar of that. Interestingly, they won't engage in that debate either.
Oh, but who's number one?
Yeah, because they just don't see it as a argument worth having, because they just, look, we're number one, all people, that's what really counts. We've had people on this show saying, yeah, look, you do get a benefit from advertisers for being number one, and they pointed out, look, we've got that up to 64 demo is quite crucial, that a lot of people don't acknowledge it at all, but they say the people between 55 and 64, or in this case 40 and 64, are actually the biggest spenders. They spend the most, and they're the heaviest of TV watchers too.
Okay, I also wanted to ask you about the multi-channel strategy, particularly when it comes to sport. What did we hear on that front? Yeah,
look, Bruce McAvaney talked a bit about that. The Seven's probably foremost sports broadcaster. He talked a little bit about the Seven sometimes now on weekends have live sport on all 3 of their channels, so that's going to become increasingly important. And he also talked a little bit about, we don't know yet, but he said they'll have more prime-time AFL than ever. The AFL draw for 2014 isn't out yet, but when it gets here, we'll see more evening matches.
Okay, and also 3 new international series in the pipeline.
Yeah, look, Angus Ross, their head of programming, talked a little bit about that. I think it was Resurrection, Intelligence and the Goldbergs, 2 dramas and a comedy. He said, look, a lot of networks focus on their local content. He said it's still really crucial to have a mix of international and Australian programming.
Because there's a new Rebecca Givney drama as well on the way.
Yeah, that was Brad Lyons. He's in charge of their local production. He's, The Killing Field, that's called. Rebecca's going to be starring in it. She's also co-producing, and it's going to be made in-house by Seven.
Okay, great. Let's move on now. And the importance of collaboration between the Seven West platforms was also mentioned a number of times at the Upfront event. Pacific Magazines is a crucial part of that, and one of the titles in its stable is Women's Health, which held its Women in Sport Awards earlier this month. For more on that, we are joined by Karen Devison, the publisher of Women's Health at Pacific Magazines. Karen, thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it. First of all, wanted to ask you a little bit about health as a big growth area. We heard that from Seven West this week, and it's something you would know all about, of course.
Yeah, look, it's a great place to be, health. It's definitely a category that's growing in interest, and I think years gone by, health was probably probably seen in the media as a bit of a niche interest, but we've seen that change so much, and it really is now aspirational sort of mainstream lifestyle. For Seven West Media, it's such an important pillar going forward. So great opportunities for us in our space working with Healthy Me TV and the wider group. So it's a good place to be in mags, and it's a good genre to be in.
Well, before we dig right into women's health, that sector, one of our colleagues here at the Channel, Bridie Barry, was at a conference yesterday with your sales boss, I guess, Peter Zavik.
Yeah,
and he was talking a little bit about a new measurement tool, I think MAP is the acronym, that's coming soon. Was it something you're looking forward to?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, our advertisers are always looking to us for advice on campaigns that can work and accountability, so anything that we can do in magazines to help better that conversation and better those results, it's a good step forward for us.
And the Women's Health Sports Awards, you held those recently as well, a major event, no doubt?
Yes. So they were last Tuesday, or Tuesday of the week before. I Support Women in Sport is the name of the campaign, and it's a great initiative looking at how we give more recognition to the amazing female sporting talent we have. And how we actually increase participation and get young women out there playing more sport, watching more sport. So yeah, the amazing female talent in Australia is pretty impressive.
We've heard from magazine publishers and editors before about the importance of these live events. They get to involve the sponsors as a payback for the reader when you cover it in the magazine. Is that your major event? Do you have many other things? And how do you integrate that, and do you, across other parts of Seven West Media?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think for women's health, it's always important to be true to the cause of what women's health is about, which is celebrating, you know, being positive about being a woman and being, you know, the best that you can be. So it's true to what the magazine's about, but our advertisers, absolutely, they want to see how they can get involved and get closer. So an event like that sort of brings it all together. The advertiser can activate on the night. They're obviously part of the campaign and the voting through the process. So it brings in the social media kind of communities. It brings it all together. It's our main one, but there's more to come.
Yeah, and evolving other parts of Seven West Media, like Yahoo or things?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously all of the voting is done through Yahoo, but then it's also using some of the great Seven talents. So Mark Beretta hosted the night, and then obviously it was followed up on Sunrise the next day. So, and you know, maybe there's a role for it with Healthy Me TV next year.
And you also look after men's health and prevention. Do many advertisers take all three?
Yeah, I mean, there are categories that definitely cross all three. So, you know, your typical ones like your sort of pharmaceutical products or active wear and some of the FMCG clients. I think as health is becoming more mainstream, that's becoming sort of more apparent across the three, as people are wanting to look for health credentials as they're targeting their audiences.
What are you doing in digital regarding the web and apps? I mean, you sort of focus on one more than the other, or do you hedge your bets and sort of cover both?
Look, I mean, well, yeah, we've got lots of bases covered. I mean, all of our magazines have digital editions, and what's interesting is just how well health has gone with digital editions. So, you know, we're out there, obviously, on our devices. As far as apps go, once again, health is perfect if you think about the functionality of an app for someone to better their exercise, to be able to buy a program. So our content's translating beautifully into the app world. And then I think the surprise for us was the social media network around health. Health is so incredibly social, and I don't think that we'd actually really predicted just how much of a conversation that would take place around health.
And where do you see magazines going? Will it be a combination of digital and also the actual magazine itself going forward? Will that be how the platform works?
Yeah, I mean, magazines is obviously still at the heart of it, but the take-up in digital is strong, but it's still, you know, globally about 6%, I think it is, of circ, and, you know, ours are around sort of 4%, so I think there's room to grow in digital and be across more platforms for sure. But obviously the print edition is really strong business for us. It's a good business for us to be in, and our numbers are you know, are really holding up. So yeah, I wouldn't convert all to digital yet.
Still plenty of life left in print, you know.
Yeah, you believe that going forward? You're confident in the print model?
Yeah, and I think what's fantastic about the model is by having social as part of it, you're putting out a magazine, but you're remaining part of that conversation for the whole month through the various social media channels.
Okay, Karen Devison, thank you so much for joining us on the program. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Karen from Women's Health at Pacific Magazine's coming up on Media Week. Never a dull moment at the Southern Cross AGM as it sees a mini shareholder revolt.